welcome to Invest. We're talking about investing, finance, and professional women. For today's items only, the investment talk today will be Ethereum ticker ETH. So first, just want to say good morning, good evening, and good night, depending on where you are. I'm recording at a relatively odd time again. As you know, I'm in San Francisco at the moment, so I do have a relatively time zone difference, of just a 3-hour difference, but everything's out of the whack. I woke up super early today, but technically it's 10 o'clock on the East Coast right now, so technically I'm waking up a little bit later than usual, knowing the fact that I went to sleep technically at 2 a.m. last night on the Eastern time. But I feel really good. I have a coffee next to me, so I'm just doing some research and doing some reading this morning as well, again, despite waking up relatively later or earlier, depending on what time zone perspective you're talking about. So with respect to recording time of 7:07 Pacific time, Ethereum's currently trading $3,929, up about 2.14% so far. With respect to the overall media affectation front, there isn't anything specific that's really driving Ethereum to go up by 2% right now. I think it's just more of a normalization from the sell-off that we saw from yesterday, hitting all the way to the $3,850, which technically is a resistance level that we've identified if you look at the green line that we've drawn here. In respect to some other media affectation that I've been reading so far, we mentioned a couple of them already, but we do have a couple ones that came out in a recent time frame. I would say in the last 6 hours to 7 hours so far. Some news came out after I went to sleep. So with respect to Bazinga 32 minutes ago, talking about if you invest $1,000 in Ethereum when CryptoPunks were released, here's how much you would have now. So basically talk about more NFT commercialization and adoption, how that's driving the frenzy that we're currently having with Ethereum NFT, but how that subsequently translate into the price level that we at right now as well. Another one that we talked about earlier, there's last night or this morning, depending on where you are. Again, 7 hours ago that we talked about with respect to the the NFT project founder, the artist behind the Bored Ape Yacht Club, right? What's the initialization story, his experience, and what is this value proposition that he believes for NFT and specifically for the Bored Ape Yacht Club going forward. Another one that's talking about on Bazinga again would be another just position news. Talk about Dogecoin comparing to Ethereum. If you had $5,000 right now, which one would you be putting your money at, right? So just another regurgitation type of news comparing the value propositions of the two. Interesting read, but is it really substantive? I would say it's more trivial, more informative for your leisure reading, I guess. Another one from CNBC talk about again on Cardano being ranked as number 3 crypto in the world. I think based on popularity contests, obviously Cardano, Solana, these are becoming like household names in the crypto ecosystem right now. So it's definitely interesting to see CNBC's depiction calling it the 3rd largest or the 3rd ranking crypto. And then with respect to some other news that I've also picked up recently on MarketWatch, on NFT Marketplace, OpenSea records 3.4 billion transaction volume in August. So basically 10 times the month before. So this is basically talking about the surge that we've been experiencing so far. You can see the green candle that we see in front of us. This is enormously driven by, obviously, a lot of retail investors FOMOing in, knowing the fact that we have such huge craziness with respect to these NFT commercialization adoptions. But also, we are also driven by the burn rates that we are currently having for Ethereum versus the amount that's being minted on a daily basis as well. So that imbalance also create that double whammy effect, right? Also with respect to just media affectation fund across the whole crypto market on, calling it's going to reach all-time high again. And momentum-wise, you could see the technicals, we recently formed that golden cross. So that gave us some, obviously, horsepower to pull up, to get more inertia to get to the next sleep, right? And I think we were very close, about like $300 away from hitting the all-time high for Ethereum a couple of days ago. And then another one coming out from Bitcoinist about I would say 14 hours ago, with respect to Mark Cuban. Mark Cuban, he's the owner of the Dallas what was his name, Mavericks, Dallas Mavericks, the NBA team, and his NBA team store runs a store scheme to reward fans paying with cryptocurrencies, and he has listed specifically if you pay with Dogecoin, Bitcoin, or Ethereum, you get some sort of like a store rewards. For I'm not sure about what specific rewards you get, but obviously, Mark Cuban, he's not stupid. He wouldn't just give people free money away for no specific reason. He obviously is, an investor into crypto assets. He obviously believes in these three respective cryptocurrency, and that's why he's incentivized to accept these form of payment solutions in return for some, short-term monetary incentives for the customer base that are willing to use crypto assets to pay or transact for the goods that he's selling on the store. So that's pretty much on the media front. So now let's take a look at the technicals real quick again. So with respect to MACD, we are still, sustaining that bullishness, but we are seeing some sort of a curvature right now, just kind of cooling off, right? Again, the ball needs to, the baseball got hit by the bat person, or the person that's batting on the plate, and the ball is basically going up into the trajectory right now, so it needs to slowly kind of form that apex, and I think we're getting to the apex soon, unless we have an even higher apex that we had before. But knowing the fact that we are forming a curvature relatively early right now in comparisons to the way that we were leaping up before, I think the likelihood of actually keep going up to reach all-time high again would be unlikely. But we have to see with respect to the next couple of days. It would be the case if RSI was way below, at the 40s or the $30 levels. But knowing the fact that we are way above the golden line, which is the equator line, it means that we're overbought in all levels. That means we need to get additional monetary incentive from, money circulations elsewhere, from the equity market or from another asset class, for them to dump, for us to circulate the money back into Ethereum specifically, right? So the risk is definitely still, relatively high. And if we fundamentally look at the cheat sheet that we have, I know some of my friends here on YouTube are contemplating, are we in the euphoria stage? Are we in the complacency stage? I personally believe we are in the complacency stage, knowing the fact that we hit that euphoria back in the day when we, hit that all-time high. That was the euphoria. And then we sold off, right? And we hit all the way to the 1750, right? And now we have that oscillation on a sideways fashion, right? To try to sustain to go back up, right? And I think there's a gap here between the complacency peak versus the euphoria peak, right? Knowing the fact that we hit the 4,000. But does that mean the bull rally is completely finished? We have to see, right? I think this is gonna durate some time coming up with respect to anxiety, denial, panic. But we have to see with respect to the last hurrah that we are experiencing right now, would that be reaching above all-time high? And I think I personally don't think so. I think we need to cool off, knowing the fact that we ran up extremely hot already. So something to think about with respect to the dynamic that we at right now. We know the burn rates is coming. We know that the tapering is still something that we have to, watch closely with respect to the job numbers and the CPI report that we'll be getting, and other black swan news that we might potentially get, right? So something we have to watch, but I think we are definitely within the euphoria or complacency. But despite both, right, we know either one of them are still, the risk is relatively high, right? When you see green or when you still see yellow in the cheat sheet, you always know that the price is definitely, leaning more of a premium. So you definitely don't want to be buying at a premium. You want to, for me, I'll just wait until the market cycle to cool off a little bit. and then I will start buying in when everybody's panicking, because that's when media are manipulating our mindset, our methodology, to try to alter our logics into how we should be executing our price level, right? So with respect to the price level for entry, again, 3,000, 2,750, 2,450 for me, knowing the fact I do still have 55 Ethereum. But if you want to buy now, ultimately, we're going to reach much higher than this after this, the whole market cycle cools off, and then we're going to continue that rally again. Something to think about, right? We might hit like $10,000 by next year, right? By summer next year. Wouldn't be surprising to me. And that's 3.3 times your money, if you buy the $3,000 level, right? So something to think about. But ultimately, it's up to your risk aversion. If you're a long-term investor buying at this current level right now and holding, and maybe even like shut off your app completely and just let it run and open it back up 10 years from now, you'll probably be a millionaire, right? Depending on how much you buy, obviously. But something to, I think ultimately, I think long-term investing is always the way to go. Short-term swinging is very unpredictable, especially with the high volatility that we have with crypto. But we're lucky that the technical analysis always tells the truth, right? It's always better be safe than sorry. So with respect to how it's shaking out right now on the market dynamics perspective, on the economical perspective, and obviously on the technical perspective, all aligns on a high risk profile. So for me, I'll just stay, within my logic and just stay off for now. That's just my perspective, and hopefully this is helpful. And also have a great rest of the Sunday coming up, or if it's Monday coming up for you guys by the time you guys watch it, have a great rest of the week coming up. And the next time you hear from me, you'll probably hear from me later today if I'm in the airport, have time. But probably not. I'm going to be spending the whole day with my business partners, discussing business, and also spending some time with their family just to get to know each other a little bit better. You probably see me in New York next time. And appreciate you, and stay tuned for next time up. Take care.